Yo, this mix is lit.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JBTHETICKET. Vegas Scoreboard Express. JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, back at you live with my main man, Raymond. ATS against the spread. You know what time it is. He's waking you up early in the morning here on this June 6, 2023. You know, 2020's in that because we're trying to put that cash in your pocket. Give a shout out to my Vegas Golden Knights for doing what they do in this Stanley Cup Finals, going up 2-0 on the Florida Panthers. But without further ado, we got my main man, Raymond, back on the line. Follow him on Twitter at ATS Stats, and then you can check out his website at atsstats.com. Quarterback coach back in the day for the University of Ottawa, also a Canadian Army veteran. Definitely want to give him a shout out for that, serving his nation as an ally with ours, and most importantly, 27 years in the sports betting and analyst industry. Not injury, no, he's not going to injure your pockets. No, that's not going to happen. And he's trying to coach the quarterbacks for them not to get injured, you know, trying to show them the way. 3-step, 7-step, 5 steps, sidestep, pass the ball. So now that we got you back on the line, Ron, I want you to talk to the listeners a little bit about what your service is about. ATSstats.com is one of the services that we use here at VSX. That's how I got to know Ron over the years. Followed him on LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn, the social network for us business people who make a little bit of cash. But when you talk about it from that perspective, how does your service differentiate itself from other services? For me, it's the stats. He's got every single stat that you would need to make an educated sports bet. But for the layman, the new folks, the folks that are getting cheated by the current incarnation of what is the major sports and sports betting media out there right now, how can your service make a good change for them? Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically, JB, what happened in I've been at this since 1998, and I started off with the Phoenix Sports Ticket. I know the old school guys will remember the old PTSD back in the day, and a good friend of mine out of Oklahoma, his name was Ryan Austin, and he said, "Dude," he goes, "you got such a good thing going." He goes, and I had this ATS Stats website, and I didn't know what to do with it. And he said, "You got to build stats. That's what it's all about." And I said, "You're right." So during since 2004, slowly, if you go look at archive.org, you can see the transition of how the early days of ATS to what the behemoth that it is today. And when you are passionate about sports betting, and the thing is, everybody in this industry, it wants to be different. So you got to be thinking different to be different. But at the end of the day, winners win. You got to find a way to produce winners. You got to find a way to produce stats that people are going to use towards what they're trying to do and accomplish, and that's win every day, right? So I came up in, when you saw the transition to sports, the parity in sports really changed the game. And I said, about 7 years ago, I had to go back to the drawing board. I said, okay, I'm just good, but I want to be great. How can I be great at this, and how can I get my record better? And I said, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's see at the landscape of today's sports betting world and say, okay, what has changed from the dynasty years of, say, the Islanders, the Cowboys back in the day, the Yankees when George Steinbrenner was always buying, winning teams, and people couldn't keep up with the salary cap. But then you saw the transition. That's when sports betting started to really take place in the early 2000s. And you saw, if you go look at the sports world, just go look at the salary caps, how that has changed, and how parity has brought a big change to the sports betting world. Then you say, okay, now I got to find, I got to tinker with my system, and I came up with the Raymond Report. Now, the Raymond Report is about fundamentals, and just like any other industry, either you're in the stock market, real estate, any industry you are in, even in football, where I coach, there's fundamentals, and I came up with these 5 fundamentals of sports betting. Number
go
one,
ahead. Please tell us. Please tell us.
You got to have value into what you're buying, right? And again, I treat the sports betting market like I do the stock market. Is this price overvalued, undervalued, or do I got fair market value? Number 2, the percentage play. Is the percentage play in my favor or the bookmaker's favor? Number 3, performance cycles. Everything runs in cycles. Short cycles, long cycles. When you look at teams, and I look, say for instance, I look at Major League Baseball. I look at Major League Baseball, the lens through a short game cycle of 7 games to a long-term cycle of the year. And you got to find the caramel secret in the middle. And then player availability. You notice I don't say injury because I don't care who's injured. You know why? Because who's available that I got a handicap who's going to take the position of the player who's injured.
Right.
Still bad for injuries, but at the end of the day, the line will always tell you, hey, you don't think if LeBron James is in the lineup, the line's not going to tell us? You know what I mean? The line will always tell you if there's something wrong. And then number 5, the most important one of all, money management system. You have to have a money management system because if you don't have a disciplined money management system, you'll be tapping out like a UFC fighter in about.
I'm telling you, going broke. We see it all the time at the book. Guys show up with bad information. They gave somebody money to get the information. I know they didn't buy it from any of VSX affiliates or any of my guys, but I hear it and I see it, and they're betting rent, and they take L's, man. It is brutal to see it. You hear them on the phone with their wife. Look, I'm trying to get over to the blackjack table. I need to get a couple dollars back. I don't know what's going on, honey. LeBron didn't make the shot. They got swept, honey. Hello? I see it all the time.
You know what, JB?
I see it all the time.
Right. Here, let me just let's play a little game right here. If I tell you, let's track your record in the last 10 days, okay, or your last 10 games. Mm-hmm. Let's say in baseball, your last 10 games. What is your window of making an opportunity of hopefully hitting 60%? Now the thing is, some bettors are going to say, okay, if I give you 10. Say if I give you $10 and you got to bet $1 on every game, just to give you an idea of the round number of 10. Uh-huh. Is that window of making those 10 bets 1 day, 3 days, 7 days, 30 days, or 60 days? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
People have this idea that you have to bet every day. No, you don't. And the thing is, you got to have a mindset of because we're all sports. We love betting on sports. It's the natural instinct of wanting to make a bet. You wake up that day, you want to bet on something, but is there really something of value that you can make money on that day? If not, you go your beer and pizza money.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you have something worth investing, then now you got your investment money. Now you bring out the big wallet.
Right, and that correlates. Yeah, and that correlates into what I've been telling people for years. It's like pick your spots, pick value. I always love betting championship series and playoff series because at that point the underdog really isn't an underdog. I mean, except for the Lakers. I mean, that was just atrocious. But for the most part, the underdog isn't the underdog. Like, for example, Florida Panthers are the home favorites going up against a 2-0 team that's already dropped 11 pucks on them in the register. You know what time it is. Yeah. Value is on the Vegas Golden Knights. So I'm like, look, throw a unit. A unit equals $100 U.S. or Canadian. And see what happens. Win, lose, or draw, take the next game off. I do it from a discipline perspective. No matter. Because we're not Mattress Mac, okay? We're not going to go and bet, all the stock for the employees on the Super Bowl. For most people, the average bet is between $50 to $200 a game. So why not understand, just like myself and Ron just said, having betting discipline and understanding the structure of what is going on with the sports betting line, because people always tell me, JB, how are you able to get inside these big lines? How are you able to call these big money line plays? Well, first of all, I use ATSstats.com. That's where you got to go to get the inside grease. Because Ron Raymond, a.k.a. ATS Stats, follow him on Twitter at ATS Stats, is the man with the go-round. So, again, when we come back from this short commercial break, I got more with Ron Raymond from ATSstats.com. He's one of the best cappers in the business, performance analyst. And, yes, he is the third Ron on the list of Rons. I got my main man Ronnie B here in Vegas. I got Ron Third Down Best Bets in L.A. And now all the way up in Ottawa, Canada, we got my man Double R, Ron Raymond. Any shout-outs before we take this short commercial break? And when we get back, guys, stay tuned because we're going to give our opinions and thoughts on what's going on in that sports betting media. And for your pick today, We're telling you, make that early pick for Thursday. Get the value. Don't wait to get to the window and beat the line. Rotation number 47. Stick with VGK on the road. Take a money line plus 125. Should be able to put that cash in your pocket. Ron, hit me with that shout out, and then we'll take this short break. Go ahead.
Yeah, before you go, I'll give you a nice little some pearls right here. Pearls for the Pearl Box. Home favorites of 160 to 180, hitting 65.3% Major League Baseball.
Telling you right now, Major League Baseball, as long as you're not the Oakland Athletics or the Kansas City Royals, you're doing great. JP, the Ticket, and Vegas Scoreboard Express. When we get back, going to wrap it up talking about this sports media, but you guys got to lock it in with my main man, Ron Raymond at ATS Stats. Check us out on the web at VegasScoreboardExpress.com, and be sure to tune in every single Saturday and Sunday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. on KSHP 107.1 and AM 1400. You know what time it is. Time to grab your bankroll and get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big ball, JBTHETICKET. Basketball season is heating up, so stay in the game with Fubo TV. Get the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, and more. Get 7 days free at VegasScoreboardExpress.com. Don't get cabled. Get Fubo TV.